What happens when a 130-year-old global giant with over 400,000 employees decides it needs to reinvent its approach to innovation? Bosch's story of embracing the power of business model innovation offers valuable lessons for any company seeking to stay ahead in a rapidly changing world. But can a small team drive such a massive cultural shift? Welcome to Business Model Hackers, where we explore business strategy and management tools through case studies. Each week, we examine real-world applications of concepts and frameworks using case studies from research and our team's engagements. To protect confidentiality, some details may be altered, but the lessons remain authentic. Get ready to uncover insights behind influential business decisions. Now, Bosch is a household name known for everything from power tools to car parts. But in 2016, the company found itself at a crossroads. Technology was evolving at breakneck speed. New competitors were emerging, and traditional product development wasn't enough anymore. Bosch knew it needed to embrace business model innovation to stay relevant. Sam, how you doing today?
Good. How are you today, Philip?
Doing good. Feeling good. I was wondering, how could a company of over 400,000 people spread across 60 countries make such a fundamental shift?
Yeah, Bosch's story is one of growth and diversification. Starting from its humble beginning in Stuttgart in 1886, now Bosch has become a global powerhouse with over 90 billion in sales in 2023. But this very success brought its own challenges as industries from automotive to consumer goods underwent rapid disruption. Bosch realized at one point that incremental product improvements were no longer enough. So they needed to fundamentally rethink business models to keep pace with change. But with such a vast, complex organization, where would they start? This is where Bosch Corporate's Business Model Innovation Group, or CBM, comes in. The group is comprised of just 5 people. This team was tasked with developing and deploying a whole new approach to business model innovation across the entire company. It was a daunting challenge. CBM didn't have direct authority over the business units. They knew they would need to win over skeptics, change entrenched mindsets, and to do it all without disrupting the core businesses that had made Bosch so successful over a century.
Now, in one of our previous episodes, you talk about the optionality paradox that companies face when trying to innovate. How does Bosch's situation reflect this paradox?
Yeah, Bosch's dilemma perfectly illustrates the optionality paradox. On one hand, they knew they needed to explore radically new business models to stay relevant in a changing world, and this meant embracing risk, experimentation, and the possibility of failure, all things that were counter to Bosch's traditional culture. But at the same time, Bosch couldn't just abandon the core businesses and competencies that were the foundation of its success. It needed to find a way to nurture innovation while still delivering short-term results. This is the essence of the optionality paradox: how to balance the need for bold exploration with the realities of running a successful business in the present. It's not an easy balance to strike, but we'll see. Bosch did find a way.
CBM's journey led them to the Innovation Acceleration Group at UC Berkeley, where they encountered a radically different approach to innovation. Now, how did that experience challenge their assumptions?
Yes, the team that visited Berkeley emphasized that in business model innovation, failure is the norm, not the exception. The key to have many teams simultaneously testing many ideas, knowing that most will fail, but a few will succeed spectacularly. This was the core, right? They also stressed the importance of evidence-based validation. Teams needed to get out of the building, talk to real customers, and make decisions based on hard data, not just opinions. So Bosch took this message to heart. They launched a pilot program with 22 teams from across the company, each pursuing a novel business idea. The teams learned to embrace experimentation, to seek truth rather than just validation, and to celebrate no-go decisions as much as go ones.
Looking at this experience, what are a few things Bosch could have done to accelerate its innovation transformation?
Yes, I mean, they did well, right? So don't get me wrong. And that's what they did is actually reflected in the stock price. They could have worked harder earlier to get buy-in and engagement from the business unit lead. So while CBM had support from the CEO, the real change required the active participation of leaders deeper in the organization. The other thing Bosch could have put in place is a more formal mechanism to allocate resources to promising new ideas. In a large company, there's always a risk that new venture will be starved or of resources in favor of established business. And lastly, Bosch could have moved even faster to codify and scale its new approach. While the pilot program was successful, it took time to translate that into repeatable company-wide process.
Lessons can other companies learn from Bosch's experience?
I think the overarching lesson is that business model innovation requires a fundamental shift in mindset and culture. It's not just about generating new ideas. It's about changing how the entire organization thinks about risk, failure, and validation. Bosch's story also highlights the power of starting small with a dedicated team and focused pilot, but always with an eye towards scaling. They show that even in large, complex company, change is possible if you have the right approach and the right champion. Lastly, Bosch's partnership with UC Berkeley underscores the value of looking outside your own walls for inspiration and expertise. Sometimes the perspective that can really shift your thinking comes from unexpected places.
Bosch's innovation journey is still ongoing, but they've already made remarkable strides. Now, by embracing the principles of innovation performance management, they've been able to dramatically reduce the time and cost of validating new business ideas. They've generated a pipeline of promising new ventures while also saving an estimated $110 million by shutting down less promising projects early. But perhaps most importantly, they've instilled a new culture of entrepreneurship and experimentation across the company. They've shown that even in a giant, century-old firm, it's possible to think and act like a startup. Bosch's story holds lessons for any company facing disruption. It shows that business model innovation isn't just a nice to have in today's fast-moving world, it's a necessity. But it also shows that with the right approach, the right partners, and the right mindset, even the biggest ships can learn to turn nimbly. As Bosch continues on this journey, they'll no doubt face new challenges and new opportunities. But one thing is clear: by learning to embrace the unknown, they've positioned themselves for success no matter what the future holds. And that's a lesson we can all take to heart. That wraps up our discussion for today. Thank you for tuning into Business Model Hackers. For more insights and updates, visit businessmodelhackers.com and don't forget to follow our social channels. Also, a special invite to our listeners: join our email list at businessmodelhackers.com to access exclusive downloadable resources. Now, these materials offer in-depth information on all the tools and trends on the show and much more. Until next time, keep hacking and innovating.